Hello, everyone. Arsenal Fan Circle here, the Sunday show. And we are calling this the Arsenal season 2022-23 starts right about now, Tony, right about now.
Yeah.
So, news today, we're going to talk about, okay, the big boys are doing their business, Tony. Haaland's in, Darwin Núñez is in for Liverpool. And the rest of this is what really happens in the start of the summer window. The big boys usually get their business done, and it's a domino effect from there on in.
Yeah,
So we're
we
going to talk
seem to
about
never be able to do it.
Gabriel Jesus. We're going to talk about Gabriel Jesus. We're going to talk about Tielemans, Bissouma, Rafinha is a new one on the books, and that surely maybe puts the end to Pepe's career at Arsenal. Pepe's probably kicked his last ball in
Or
anger.
Gnabry coming.
Or Gnabry coming, yeah. But Bukayo Saka, I believe, is going to stay. The negotiations are going to he's probably going to wait. He might even wait out into the season for Bukayo Saka.
It's just it's frustrating because you heard it like in October of last year and just should have been done.
Reddy Sarkar is here. Hello, evening, everyone. Someone has been missing in action. That's you, Reddy, I believe. Only pilot and co-pilot to start the show. You'll be responsible for. Yeah, grab your own food and grab your own drinks and validate your boarding pass by slapping a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed so you know what gate to come to each and every time. Ray, where's your crew? Mahir hopefully joining a little bit later. Gary's definitely joining a little bit later, and I think it'll be four of us unless anyone else wants to jump in. But yeah, I think Tony, you're excited, Tony, because you'll get a little bit of airtime here. You're going
I get to talk. Imagine that.
You get to talk just a little bit, Tony.
When you hear Tony, then you hear Tony speak, not Morty forced Tony.
Evening, Mr. Tom. We are going to talk about Rafinha, Mr. Tom, today. And
Tom might have to join in that segment.
I know you're going to say it won't be cheap, right? I think Tony's enjoying having less people inside the flight. Yeah, less people, more control.
Tom said we can have him if we pay $60 million, so he's good. He's signed off.
Good evening to Taib. Hey, Reddy. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Arteta mad at the owner's reaction to
bullshit story.
Yeah, because it's like a media spun story, right?
Yeah, I don't believe it because it was part on Jesus is wrong because we have made contact, agreed personal terms, supposedly made a bid. That says we haven't made a bid. I just don't believe the story at all.
Yeah, this is so. Let's stick with this one. Arteta mad at the owners requiring a sign off on transfers and how long that's taking. I actually agree with you, Tony. I think it is a media spun story to get Arsenal fans all wound up.
Yeah, I don't see why they'd spend $150 million last year. No problem signing off on it.
Yeah,
they're trying to give him more power and all this stuff. I just don't see him wanting Champions League so bad. I don't see him dicking around and not getting the players that he wants. Because the board has backed him fully so far. Why would they go into this window not backing him? Makes no sense with Champions League on the line. Extended his contract. Just all points say to bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe the money's there when Arteta needs it?
I believe it because we kept hearing he's have 180 million or whatever available.
So would it being a little bit light on numbers and a little bit light on actual news out there? Throw a few questions in there. We will definitely answer your questions. We will field those questions. We've got some material to talk about, but definitely throw some things in. I know you have that money, says Mr. Tom. That sweet Thursday night cash. That's where we rake it all in on Thursday night, right? In the Europa League as well. So yeah, this coming season, our Thursday night forum will be featuring Europa League downloads again. You know,
Boo.
not too bad, Ty. Just trying to stay away from transfer rumors, and that's the thing. We can all get caught up really in the whole silly season cycle. Tony, a lot of people get wound up with just clickbait, right? A lot of fans just believe everything's out there, and you have to maybe use your brain a little bit in terms of what Arsenal may do, what sounds about right, and what is absolutely not.
And you have to know your sources. Usually, everything out of France is usually bullshit, or at least 75% of it is.
Especially that GFF, right? GFFN.
Yeah. Then you have AS, whatever, out of Spanish. It's usually wrong. But if you go anything from Athletic or Romano, any of that stuff, it's usually pretty accurate.
And this is the thing that Stan, a lot of fans feel this way as well. We're worried we may miss out on our targets. We may end up with panic buys. So who are our main targets, Tony?
Well,
top three right now.
Jesus.
Yep.
Seems like Rafinha or whoever winger you want to put in there. Wingers high up there. And Tielemans. Now it seems like Basuma's kind of making their way up there because Tielemans, I think they're trying to get a little bit more money out of him than we want to spend on him.
So it's a trinity of Tielemans, Basuma, or Zinchenko. Zinchenko will cover left side midfield and maybe left back in a pinch. Tielemans is a perfect fit for me in the left-sided midfield of the tree. And Basuma is one that just seems like a little bit may not happen. It just seems too easy, right?
It's the one that we need the most, though.
Yeah, well, let's have a discussion. Do we need him the most? Because Basuma would really play in Partey's position for me.
I don't think so, because I see Basuma being more of a central defensive midfielder than the other ones. I think he fits in there better. To me, Partey's better going off, so he could be another 8, use Odegaard and Partey as 8s, and use Basuma as a 6.
Yeah, but Basuma will be in the position that Partey plays in now.
He was playing more advanced because with Partey we played a double pivot. Without him, we went with a 4-3-3 for the most part.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Mr. Thompson, just give us all your Thursday night cash and another 50 million. You'll have another Brazilian. That's it. We're becoming Brazilian FC right now. Greetings, everyone. Hey, Stephen. Thanks for joining. Not too bad. Hope you're all good and cushy, says Riddy.
Seems like that should be our first signing, Marquinhos, 19-year-old winger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they're going for that young of a winger. I don't know what with Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. Not sure why you go younger there.
Yeah, Marquinhos, I think, is going to be one for the future. Whether he gets to play too many games this coming season will be a question, really, that we need to look at as the season goes on.
Marquinhos Europa like Martinelli did.
He could play. He could start out with some Europa League games, definitely in the Carabao Cup, and that's going to take us up until that break in November when the
Take your time, Gary.
Take your time, Gary. Tony is taking advantage of this time now for some airtime. Hello, everyone. DWTT will be on very soon. Hoping Mahir will find the link as well and join us as well. Afternoon, Alex. Good to see you. And got a couple of ideas, Alex. We will maybe, hopefully, if you're up for launching a little podcast versus podcast season challenge. I've got a couple of ideas, and we'll maybe grab one of those, Alex. Your crew against our crew over here, the sister channel. Stan says, as long as Basuma is helping the police with their inquiries, it won't happen. And that's the thing. Clubs won't want to take a risk on Basuma, Tony, until he's clear of his court case.
I don't know. We've taken a risk on players like that before, so I could see us doing it.
I was just about to type, "Where's Gary?" Well, a little bit like where's Waldo? You gotta spot Gary in the podcast.
Are we to get Gary or are we to get Morty?
There's plenty of spots, so he could fill both spots if he wanted to. He could actually put 2 cameras on. Me, split personality, Gary, Morty, Garty.
Even we had Sam last week.
Has anyone seen Sam lately? I haven't seen or heard nothing from him for a while. I'll give him a shout later on Twitter. Yeah, we haven't seen him in 7 days. He was here last week as we unveiled the predictions podcast. So Leeds making their 3rd signing this week, apparently. When is the window starting for Arsenal? Yeah, we'll get into that, Tom. The window has to be starting pretty soon. As you said, Tony, Marquinhos, first one, he'll be the first one probably ratified and announced pretty soon. We might even see the video this coming week of Marquinhos in the house as everything is ratified with him. Yeah, he could get some Europa League action, but I don't see him featuring for the first team too much this season. He might get to play a couple of early Carabao Cup games, but that's really all we may see from Marquinhos this season, Tony.
Yeah, I don't think it'll feature much. We got plenty of depth there. To me, I'm still a little surprised Uyghur's that much of a priority for us. Definitely wouldn't buy 2, but that's what the club wants to do with Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. I think that's enough in the youth there.
Tom is asking, didn't Wolves sign Marquinhos? I mean, there was some conjecture, there was some controversy about that, Tony, about a week ago.
Yeah, they paid for him first, but apparently we paid more, so.
I know there was some question.
I'll clear it up, so I don't know.
A pre-contract, some kind of a pre-contract agreement. Sam trying to find the next Norwegian wonder kid to sign for us. He didn't get Haaland in quickly enough. All the big clubs came sniffing around there early in Haaland, but we got Ødegaard in there. You know, I wanted to maybe watch Norway-Sweden game, but I didn't get to see that. Did you see that game, Tony?
No, I didn't get to see it. I just hope Ødegaard starts off the season better than he did last season. I was a little disappointed at a slow start he got. Did real good in the middle part of the season. Then after COVID, he wasn't quite as good.
Yeah. The next one that we're going to talk about is Eddie. Eddie and Kenya will probably be the next official signing. We all know it's happening, Tony.
We don't know it's happening, though, because on the players out, it says possible exit.
Eddie.
It hasn't been agreed yet.
He hasn't
I'm wondering if the player's waiting to see who we bring in. If we bring in 2 strikers, then he'll say, adios, Arsenal. I think that's going to be part of it.
He will be a free agent July 1st, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he's a free agent anyway. He's a free agent now. He can sign with whoever.
Yeah.
He's been able to do that since January.
Yeah. Tom said, Eddie made my English Premier League team of the season. I saw a little bit of that. And so I think another Arsenal player that had some Leeds connections made your team as well. Tony the lawyer, they paid first, but we paid more. So
I don't know how it got sorted out, but it's sorted.
Yeah, really, we're going to get into Bernd Leno to Fulham as well. I think that's quite strong link that Bernd Leno will be leaving the club, and I think that's a good move for all parties involved.
I don't think so.
I
see him going back to Germany before he joined Fulham.
Yeah, but the money is in the Premier League. Fulham are going to get that Premier League money and be able to spend it. So
it's just crazy. $8 million for him. That's just.
I think we should be able to get a little bit more, being that it's going to be within the
transfer market. A lot of places have him listed at $9 million. He's definitely a $20 million player. Great shot stopper. Better shot stopper than Ramsdale is. It's just that communication.
Don't give him the Fulham. So Mr. Tom is already worried about those teams coming up. You know, Mr. Tom, maybe you have to be the 5th or 6th worst team in the league this season. You need to be a little bit better than 18th right?
Tom Leach can
17.
pay for him, even though you
Tom will
already got a
probably,
good keeper.
Mr. Tom will probably take 17th again, but we want you to be feeling a little bit better when it comes to May next year, and not sweating it too much, Mr. Tom. So yeah, I guess he doesn't want to improve Fulham too much. Prince Harry also made his way into Mr. Tom's 11. So Mr. Tom's fun 11. So yeah. Doubling back then on the, we're gonna stay a little bit on the Arteta mad at the owners. So we think that's bullshit story, right, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely think it's bullshit because why would you re-sign him and say no? You can't spend money on players. The goal of a season definitely has to be qualifying for Champions League. So I don't know why we'd be dicking around saying, "Oh, you have to get this player approved before we give him money." None of it makes sense. Like I said, the Jesus stuff, we already have stuff from better sources that says they've made contact, made a bid, personal terms agreed. It's just price between the clubs needs to be negotiated. So I just don't buy the story at all.
I should have swapped Van Dijk out and brought in Ben White. Uh, Ready is there saying Marquinhos deal is done. I think it was 3 million at the end of the day, Tony.
Yeah, something like that. It don't cost very much to buy those young Brazilians.
And we've actually opened up a relationship with Sao Paulo now of Brazil through Edu, and hopefully that relationship will bring one or two players our way, bring one or two Brazilian players our way.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do next season when I do with Don Juan of a match. I always broke out my Brazilian hoodie. Now it's not gonna work when fucking half the team's Brazilian.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a little creative.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 or 3 players at least on our first 11 that are Brazilian, and yeah, you're still going to have to tell us who your Don Juan was for that game. Marquinhos deal is done, 3 million, and at least Prince Andrew didn't. It's a story with the same purpose of causing friction in the fan base. So yeah, this is the thing, Tony. The media. Put these stories out to try to put a wedge. Well, everybody knows Arsenal need to go and get strikers, need to get forward players.
Who was it that put it out? Was Standard? Is that who it was?
The Daily Mail, I believe.
Was it the Daily Mail?
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure Gary will want to backtrack a little bit, have his word on a lot of these topics. We're going to jump around a lot.
I can't imagine Gary wanting to get his word in.
You're getting golden time right now, Tony. You're getting golden time. What's the latest on Gabriel Jesus? So the latest on Jesus is that the personal terms have been agreed. Now that's a very broad and generic thing to say from all journalists, respected or otherwise, for all news agencies to say personal terms have been agreed. Now, Tony, you want to tell us what personal terms being agreed really means?
It means that the player wants to go to the club wants the player, but they haven't agreed with a fee between the clubs, so it means fuck all really.
Now, but it could mean there's like a bandwidth or a range in terms of what you're going to be getting paid per week, and when you get down to negotiate between the two clubs and the player and the agent, all of that will come out and be more honed in, more ratified, more exact.
Yeah, it's usually. I don't think it usually changed too much after they have a personal terms agreed. It usually stays the same. Maybe bonuses change a little bit or something, depending on the fee. They might structure a little bit different, but for the most part, that's what you get.
Fabrizio Romano has come out and said Gabriel Jesus wants to stay in the Premier League. So anyone who's worried about the Real Madrid story about Jesus going to Madrid and Madrid coming in and stealing him from the Premier League, can breathe a little bit easier about that, Tony.
Yeah. There kind of were multiple people reporting on it, but I don't buy into it. I think a player would rather stay in the Premier League. He's here now, does fairly well in it. Now he'll get to focus more. World Cup's coming up, so he goes to Real Madrid. They might sign another striker or whatever. Might be less playing time. Comes to Arsenal, guaranteed minutes, good wage package. No, he'll be featured. Premier League's top league in the world, so I don't see why he'd want to leave.
So what we see is players become very accustomed to coaches and managers. You know, Brendan Aronson has moved to Leeds United as Mr. Tomlin now. Having worked with Jesse Marsch before at Salzburg, there's also that comfort level that the player has. This is something that Gabriel Jesus has with Mikel Arteta. He's got that comfort level, knowing Mikel Arteta quite well. I'm sure they would have stayed in contact over the last couple of years that Arteta was with Arsenal. And so Jesus, like you said, Tony, will feel very comfortable about coming to Arsenal. I'm sure they would have had that discussion about where he fits in. The player can see it. The manager can sell it.
Yeah, he knows what type of coach he is. Really doesn't know what type of manager he is, but knows what the project is. But the main thing he knows, he'll be a guaranteed starter. He'll be one of the main focusing points. Supposedly he's the number one target. Sure, Arteta will be telling him that he wants to come. So I don't think it's a big tough sell, especially with World Cup coming up in November.
That's the important thing about the World Cup. Players do want to feel secure. They're going to go somewhere where they're going to get minutes. Stan is casting his mind back to when I negotiated with him his personal terms when he signed for Arsenal Fan Circle. And if he remembers correctly, keeping his image rights was the key negotiation clause. I actually violated those rights one time when I turned my camera off, and it showed Stan's iconic avatar that you can see right there. So I actually had to write an apology letter and compensate him for the image infringements, Tony.
What did you compensate him with?
Cold hard cash, right? Or crypto. You know that invisible crypto stuff? We can just make it go away very easily.
Hi, Russ. Love
Russ
you.
is here. Russ is in the chat. PSG have a new sporting director named Million Kapape. Wow. Is this a bit like Gary and Morty? The one and same person. He also has good relationship with Edu. Yeah, Gabriel Jesus does. That's why I don't do Sunday shows where I can't afford my appearance fee. Appearance fee. My interference fee. Hello, Russ. Yeah, so there is that nationality thing with Edu. A lot of things check the boxes, Tony. So if anyone was worried about Madrid, we've allayed their fears that Jesus wants to go to a Premier League club. Now, the other thing is, Thunder Road is saying here, we're going to address this one. Thunder Road was more concerned about Chelsea's interest in Jesus and, dare I say it, Tottenham's interest in Jesus.
I'd be more worried about Chelsea just because they can offer him more. They got the Champions League too, but I'd be worried over Chelsea over Spurs.
Yeah. If I'm Gabriel Jesus, I'm going to pick between the Chelsea and Arsenal, and knowing all the links and the personal relationship I would have with Mikel Arteta, knowing them from the Manchester City days. Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Martinelli, both in the Arsenal squad and in the Brazil squad. I feel very comfortable coming to a kind of a Brazil contingent within Arsenal. Not to say that maybe there's a Brazil player, Thiago, I think, Silva, is at Chelsea, but I'd feel a lot more confident about going to Arsenal, notwithstanding the links, the Champions League football that you're going to get at Chelsea. But I wouldn't actually feel comfortable that I was going to play a lot of minutes at Chelsea if I was Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah. there kind of has been these rumors that Pulisic would leave. That might give him a little time, but you're just not guaranteed a starting there. And right now, you wouldn't know what Spurs either unless they sell Son or Kane early on, which they're not going to do early on and be later in the window.
Yeah,
But at Arsenal, he knows he's going to be getting all the minutes, so
yeah,
that's the easiest one.
Getting a lot of minutes.
But it's frustrating that it's not done yet. Should have been done a while ago. Going back to the thing you mentioned on Arteta in that article, it says that Jesus was available 2 months ago. So we should have had it ironed out by now. But
yeah,
for Arsenal, we put shit off for whatever reason.
The latest word, Tony, is that Jesus was waiting until his international games were over. So we feel that something may happen this coming week. Arsenal, if by this time next Sunday something is not done with Gabriel Jesus, I will be starting to get a little bit worried. Arsenal will have the whole week to get something done. Jesus will want to go on his holidays, right? The players are playing a lot of minutes right now. He's played a lot of Champions League football, some Premier League football, and some internationals now with Brazil. All the players want to go away for about 2 or 3 weeks and forget about football.
We might do kind of like that thing we did with Luis a few years ago, calling up when we got a couple Brazilians. So we might do that with Marquinhos. Jesus.
Yeah, Marquinhos and the 2 Gabriels in there. So your Brazil shirt, when you hold that up, we're going to have some slight doubt about who it's going to be.
I'm not to buy more Brazilian shirts. I'm about to get a Brazilian kit, something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Great to see a football fan. Glory, Man United here. Hi guys. Question for Arsenal and my team United is how much of a draw are we for top players at this moment in time? I see a lot of similarities with our clubs and are worried with no Champions League. Tony?
To me, you can kind of put that out the window a little bit when it comes to the World Cup coming up. They care more about playing for their national team than they do Champions League, I think. They know where to be in Europa. We finished 5th, just barely off 4th. So they might think they can come in and make a difference and get Champions League for us next season. So to me, it's all about minutes. It's about putting yourself out for the World Cup. You only got 3 months to do that, or maybe 2 months because the teams will probably be nailed down in October. So you have to come out, improve yourself, show you're in form, so you're ready. So I think that focuses more than the Champions League. I thought it happened more in the winter window. Really, only player you seen that said he moved because of a World Cup was Bruno Guimaraes. He said that was a big part of his move because he wanted minutes. He wanted to be in a World Cup. So,
yeah. And maybe move to a league where the exposure is going to be a little bit more. Go to Newcastle. The media is going to be covering what's going on in Newcastle. I will address the question. Yes, United and Arsenal, we've been trending in the same way. Arsenal have been out of the Champions League for about 5 years. And yes, I think it is a more difficult sell to bring players in when you don't have any Champions League football. We're actually encountering that a little bit now. You're seeing all the big, not that we were ever going to be in for Holland, but, Darwin Núñez, I wanted to go to Liverpool because they're a good club, run well, and they're in the Champions League.
We could have got him last year. We missed the boat on that one. Now teams are going to play double the price they could have got him for last summer.
There's a lot of players we're going to mention here, that some of them will want the things the players are being linked to us that we're talking about. Jared Bowen at West Ham. West Ham are going to value him at 70 or 65 or 70 million, even though he's maybe perhaps not worth that. He's become that valuable to West Ham. Whereas a year ago, Jared Bowen could have been a lot cheaper. Darwin Núñez could have been a lot cheaper as well.
Yeah,
100
million euros for Núñez supposedly.
Yeah, that is if all of the goals are going to be activated and achieved. And I understand a lot of those 20 million euros will be activated. So it's 80 million euros plus 20 million euros, which will round out to about 85 million pounds at the end of the day. And a lot of those bonuses they'll be able to hit a lot of those bonuses, I understand. Thunder Road said, GGMU, weren't you in the Champions League last season before dropping to Europa? A difference is we haven't been in the Champions League since 2016. You can sell yours as a blip or ours as a trend. But the way I would say this, Tony, is ours is a trend, but we're actually coming back the right way. I believe we're building our squad in the right way. And Man United are maybe behind us a little bit because they've just gotten a really good coach in there. And it's going to take some time. And it remains to be seen if he can change the culture there, Ten Hag.
Yeah, to see if he gets the power that he wants. I don't know if he'll get it or not. To me, the ownership's group's a little worse over there at United. I think I should have kept Ole a little longer. He had more experience. Finished second and third.
Yeah, the problem with Ole was it was a continuous cycle that I don't want Arsenal to get into. You win 2 games and everybody gets off of Ole's back, and then he loses 2 games and the pressure's back on. I believe the way Arsenal are doing it, we're doing it in a much more. You can see the foundation building, and you can see the pieces that we need to add. I think rival fans can see the pieces that we need to add. Right? Maybe fullbacks, definitely left side of midfield, definitely striker, and maybe some kind of a winger, whether it's right or left. With United, it's going to be a lot more hard. It's going to be a lot harder for Ten Hag to diagnose the problems there. And he's probably going to have to start the season with some players, Tony, that he's not sure of.
Yeah, there are 3 or 4 players that pretty much said they're going to leave. Hi, John Wayne. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in about
John Wayne in the house. So Stan said Mikel was very firm about not having to beg players to sign for us. Yeah, you do want players to be enthusiastic to come and to want to move the needle for us. Very often right now, players want the club to move needles for the players. We don't see many players wanting to move needles.
I think a lot of that boils down to the agents, so they're always trying to get more money. Even when players say, hey, I want to go to Arsenal, but they're like, hey, Chelsea's interested in you, Spurs are interested in you. Let's see if we can get more money out of Arsenal, even though that's where you want to go, but let's try to get more out of them.
All right.
I think there's more to it than just the players' desire. But
we want to see players actually try to lift the levels of Arsenal. If a Tielemans comes, we want him to raise our level. If a Gabriel Jesus comes, we want him to score goals. And maybe our contracts need to be incentivized as well. Thunder Road said, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. We're at 13 right now. I think 13 likes. So hit the like button, please. That is validating your boarding pass for the flight here. And
we had 5 likes before we even left the airway.
Cool. The Assemble says, Stan, unfortunately, there is the Xhaka situation. He was leaving. I believe Xhaka may leave for Roma, Tony.
I think we have to bring in 2. If we just bring in 1 midfielder, I don't see him leaving. I think we have to be 2. Maybe 1 that's a guaranteed starter. He might leave, but I don't think so. I think he'll still want to hang around. Arteta likes him.
Do you think that
the problem is if he's in the lineup, Arteta's not playing. If he's there, he's got to play.
Yeah. And that's the problem with Arteta. I think Xhaka is going to cloud his judgment because he shouldn't feel a sense of responsibility toward the player. He feels like he's a leader on the field, and he feels like
he's already stopped him from leaving 3 times.
So Xhaka may have a reduced capacity this season if he stays. He may be substituted more. We're going to have 5 subs, 5 substitutions available. 3 points in the game. Within the game, you can make 5 substitutions plus halftime. Fair point, Thunder, but we were just making up the numbers, not competing. And that's what Arsenal would have been doing if we'd have snuck into the top four as well. Bowen, yes, but too expensive. 22 million, I think maybe three times. He's valued at three times now. God bless 5-year contracts. Good evening to John Wayne in the house. Right back at you guys. GTSY? Do you know what that means? Gutsy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Just figured that out. Thank you. The Premier League is such a draw. Cornet chose Burnley over Leon. That you can get quality players and turn them over for a huge profit as opposed to being bullied out of them in the past.
Yeah, the players want to come here. They like exposure. Really, the only negative to England's the weather. That's why some of the guys choose Italy or Spain. But as far as exposure and all that, they like coming to the Premier League.
GGMU says, I think Xhaka will stay for the experience for the young ones in your starting lineup. And he didn't provide the kind of leadership I think that was needed for the young players to follow.
We do have a midfielder as a manager, don't we?
GGMU, you can probably tell from Tony's reaction, he's not a huge Granit Xhaka fan.
And I don't see his leadership ability at all. He goes out there, gets red cards, gets sent off, costs us points.
At certain points in the season.
No Premier Leagues, no Champions League since he's been with us. Last week was his 6-year anniversary, and we haven't been in the Champions League or qualified. We were in it the year he came because we are qualified, but
GGMU says the United now are.
Oh, fuck you, Tom.
United now, we'll get to Tom. United now are where Arsenal were before Arteta. I believe we look for sexy signings for PR, not necessarily being a fit for the team. I put it down to recruitment more than the owners. And Ten Hag, I think, is going to change some things there. We'll have to see how Ten Hag goes.
He's a good coach. It's just if he gets enough power or not.
Tom says Xhaka is worthy of a 5-year contract. Yeah, if you need to sell after 5 years, he's worthy of a 5-year contract. Granit Xhaka is the type of player you need to start thinking about selling with 5 years left in his contract, not just 2 years. A negative in England is the weather. That's true. Second time, tune in and we'll take note. My apologies. Yeah, listen, that's fine. We're all going to have opinions on players. Tony's not a fan of Granit Xhaka. There we go, Xhaka conspiracies. Xhaka is a leader who loves the fans. 5 more years. I really got a reaction from Tony. We need a midfield overhaul. Partey to go. Xhaka bench till he begs to leave. 2 DMs and attacking midfield.
I don't even think Xhaka should be benched. He needs to go. Partey probably needs to go because we've only seen Partey play for 2 months of a player we expected out of 2 years. He's constantly injured. There's a player in there, but what is it? He'll be 29 now. Getting close to 30, so.
Yep. Gundit looks like he may be hanging out in the comment section, even though he has the link to join us. The Jack is going, and Gary's going to join late and want to talk about everything we've already talked about. You know it, right? The Jack has scored a goal against Salford Reds on 23rd of April. He did, and he's usually good for 1 goal.
Yeah, but how many did he put into Rose Ed?
Tony thinks we are in the Champions League because of Granit Xhaka. Do me a favor.
It's not just a coincidence.
Let me just say one thing. If we had a Tielemans in our midfield instead of a Granit Xhaka, it's very hard to know if we wouldn't have qualified for a Champions
There's
League.
been several years where we missed the championship by just 3 or 4 points, or 1 year is 1 point. Xhaka's made enough mistakes each year to cost us that. Same with Mustafi. When he was here, he cost us enough points individually.
Mr. Tom said, is there a Kahoot this week? I'm formulating some questions, but I haven't got to the quota yet. That we'll that will trigger the release clause of the Kahoot game. So, so let me hit that mark, and we'll do it probably next Sunday, Mr. Tom. My hero is a great man. Great man, I say. Yep. All right. So Gabriel Jesus, we feel good about this thing happening, Tony. Brazil didn't have a game with Argentina yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't pay much attention to it.
So Brazil have come to the end of their games, their international games, and so Gabriel Jesus should come back now, and his agent.
I agree. I disagree, Russ, because we're gonna go with more of a 4-3-3, which we've seen at the end of the year. You'll have one guy staying back, two attacking. Granit Xhaka cannot be one of those guys.
I agree with Tony. Not many times I will agree with Tony. Russ says Tielemans will be brought to play with Xhaka, not replace him. I don't believe that. Listen, there'll be times when Partey can't get into the lineup through injury. There will be times where Granit Xhaka and Tielemans, if Tielemans come, they may have to play together, but I don't believe that will be the plan, Russ. I believe when fit, our first choice may be, if Tielemans is in, it would be Partey at the base of midfield in the DM position. Left side of that would be Tielemans. Right side would be Ødegaard. Do you agree with that, Tony?
Maybe with Tielemans, but I almost still see Tielemans staying back, and because Partey is more of a attacker.
No. Tielemans is going to get you way more goals than Partey will every season.
I'm not saying amount of goals; he just goes forward.
Well, you need to have Tielemans left side of that three, where he can probe and he can have some shots from distance. Partey is a defensive midfield. This is how it works, Tony. Partey's best position is in front of that back four, and Tielemans to his left, just ahead of him. Ødegaard to the right, just ahead of him. Ødegaard working with Saka. We've seen that work before. Whoever the right back is going to be, whether it be Tomiyasu, Saka, and Ødegaard, and it's going to be possibly
I'd still rather see Bissouma
Tielemans, Martinelli, and Kieran Tierney. Yeah, so Tielemans will be further forward than Partey or Granit Xhaka for me. Yes, really, I'm busy planning a Kahoot pre-season. As soon as I hit the trigger clause, the release clause, the Kahoot will be released out probably next Sunday. I've got a few questions cooking. Tony is the reason I got into football. There you go. Most recently as well. Be right back, says Gun, the preseason friendly. Yeah. Xhaka is too slow to be a CDM and not offensive minded enough to be number 8. So he'll be our number 1 striker. Backed up by Jesus. Russ, the manager, has to come up with something this year. And he's got to get a couple of players. You know, I think most of this season, Tony, we got 5th place because we had certainly 10 players in our first 11, not 11 out of 11. You know,
I think we're closer to 8 or 9 out of 11. I don't think.
If you're really being critical, one of those midfield slots where Granit Xhaka was, and the left wing wasn't as effective. It was sort of maintained by Emile Smith-Rowe and Martinelli chipping in, but it wasn't like a solid anchor, you would think.
Yeah, Xhaka, I don't know. The way we played the last 2-3 months, we played more of a 4-3-3. I don't know why Smith-Rowe could have been on the left there instead of Xhaka. Seeing Xhaka shoot all the short shots that he did. There's all kinds of stats. I can't remember if it's inside the line or outside the line that does all the stats with showing Xhaka's shots for the last 2 months, where he was playing. To me,
yeah.
Smith-Rowe could have easily did that. The thing is, he's not mobile. He's slow. He goes against everything we want to do. We want to play up-tempo. We want to play fast. Here he is doing the back passes, slowing down because he just can't run up and down the pitch like the rest of the guys.
What I would like to say as well, that stat tells you the difference in the opportunities that Granit Xhaka had when pushed further forward. The situation is Granit Xhaka's shooting would not be as good as, say, a Tielemans in that position. Put a Yuri Tielemans in there with those quality chances on the edge of the box, and he's going to give you maybe 6 or 7 goals a season, whereas Granit Xhaka will give you 1 or 2. Tony sat like an angel blessed by the light behind him. Yeah.
It's 101 degrees outside, so.
Tony and Angel, somehow they don't fit together.
Yeah, they do. Do you know what Tony means?
No.
Either praiseworthy of God or a gift from God is what Tony means.
Somebody put that on a plaque so some sucker called Tony would go and buy it. Sorry, apologies to all Tonys out there, but that's how it works. They say nice things about Rays as well.
What does Ray mean?
I don't know. I haven't researched it. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the chat section. Tielemans will be Partey's replacement starting next season. After more injuries for Partey next season, we will then buy a new central defensive midfielder next summer. I just don't think Partey will last the season. This is a good thing that we've been highlighting in the last few weeks, Tony. Our fullbacks and Partey, let's say, crucially, they missed big parts of our season. Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Partey. And next season, coming up to a World Cup, where the season is going to be very different for everybody involved, and the players are not going to know how to maybe navigate before and after the World Cup. It's going to be critical for these players that I'm calling out, Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey, and Tomiyasu, to put together a season where they play more than 30 games in the league.
I just don't know if, like I've said it over again, for Scotland, Tierney plays as left center back. For us, I think he'd be better there. I think we're more suited to have wing backs because both our backup fullbacks are wing backs. Cedric and Tavares are wing backs, are not fullbacks. Really only, to me, the only really central defensive mid we have is Sambi, and he's not quite ready. He'll be there in maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, I was critical of Samuel Okonga this season, hoping that he will take a big step forward. And I think there's going to be some games that are going to be more suited to him playing a major role in Europa League and Carabao Cup, and maybe a couple of games versus the bottom feeders, like Leeds United and Fulham. Those who are going to be down the bottom 6.
He started the season pretty well when he had Partey out there with him, but when he had Xhaka, when Xhaka moved off to the left, I just don't think he did as well.
In all seriousness, well done on carrying the discussion by yourselves for nearly an hour. When Gary comes in, we're just going to not say anything for the next hour, and Gary can have the second 60 minutes.
Mr. Tom just loves anybody that's ever played for Leeds.
The one. Russ Morgan says Xhaka can play as a wingback. I predict a big year for Ben White and Eddie Nketiah next season. I'm sensing a running theme from Mr. Tom's comments. He seems to be very complimentary about 2 players on our squad. I don't know why.
I think it's blue and yellow tinted sunglasses.
I agree on Ben White, but not entirely sure on Eddie. Shots fired, Tom. Yep, shots fired. Bottom 6. Well, no, we really do want Leeds to do better than that, don't we? Great to see everyone still here, hanging in there with us. Throw some questions at us. The Assembled had one. I'm going to roll back to that one. The Assembled. Damn, I just woke up and missed half the show. Work's been rough this weekend. Afternoon, everyone. Work sucks, for sure. The Assemble said, Ray, didn't Arteta say after the January transfer window that he's happy with the squad he had get Champions League or words to that effect. That was a manager trying to put a sheen on what was going on, I believe. I think he was frustrated about not being able to get someone in January as well. I think the owners tightened up the purse strings and didn't allow us to do that. Definitely could have kept Chambers. I think if there's one minor thing that happened in January, it's maybe keeping Chambers or a utility player.
I'd go for Niles too.
Do you believe Arsenal will get any player they've been linked to? Yeah, I believe we'll get Gabriel Jesus. I believe we'll get Tielemans, and probably a right winger of some sort. Rafinha might be tough to get, but I think we'll definitely get those two, and those two will be our main targets: Gabriel Jesus and Tielemans. We need Tony in his best behavior where Gary comes in. Do we? Maybe not. Maybe Gary will be all wound up. You know what I mean? Leads are many things.
Are we going to get Gary or are we going to get Morty?
Leads are many things. Liars, cheats, communists, bottom feeders, but we are not porn stars. When Tony goes to Target, what's the first thing he goes for?
Well, I don't have a Target where I live now, but when I did, one of the first things I'd go for is, I can't remember the name of a brand, but it's made for it's their brand. They have kettle cook chips or crisps, as you guys call them. I always went for those. Get a couple bags of those because they're a great snack food.
Okay, so the news is we feel Gabriel Jesus will be. I feel by next Sunday we can actually talk about Gabriel Jesus, about pretty much being an Arsenal player. It's got to happen. It's got to be done quickly. I don't believe Tottenham were ever involved in it. I don't really believe Chelsea have a chance, and we know that he's going to stay within the Premier League. The links between himself and Arsenal and Arteta are just too strong to withstand. So Gabriel Jesus, personal terms agreed. I believe things are going to happen very quickly this coming week with Gabriel Jesus. Gary.
Hello. Sorry about that.
Welcome. Yeah. Wow, we're getting the subs in. We're getting 2 substitutes in here. Look at that. The 5 substitute rule is working, Tony. We're able to bring 2 in at one time.
2 subs left.
It's halftime because you guys have been slacking. So we came in to see this thing out. And Tony, with the same nickname, is going to give me that for the rest of my life.
We've been carrying.
Now you're coming in salty. You're saying we did a poor job for an hour.
I'm just telling you, I came in to do a better job. That's all I'm saying.
We know it, and you know it, Gary.
He's that Jesus.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. We got. You guys are like Lacazette and Aubameyang, and I'm Jesus coming in to actually put some goals in. Yeah.
Well, we got Lacazette and Ian Wright here.
There you go.
Can we do another substitution and get Gary off the pitch already?
And then there was 4. So
everybody in the chat, I saw a lot of people in there, so I can't go through all the names. But yeah, welcome to the show. Is that Riddy, Russ?
All the
family members. Pulling the numbers, Wayne, Gary. We've been pulling the numbers, the big numbers.
Assembled. Who else we got there? Stephen OT. Football fan GGMU. Look at it. Welcome to the show.
We already got 16 likes without you, Gary.
Perfect. What do you mean? Who do you think one of those 16 was?
Mr. Tom.
All right, Gary. We've covered a couple of things. The Mikel Arteta mad at the Kroenkes.
Oh yeah.
Both Tony and I called bullshit on this story.
It's either that or you know how many people believe it though. We all don't think that we don't think that they're ambitious, do we? Nobody says, all right, KSC, they want us to win trophies, they want us to win leagues, they want us to win Champion League, have one of the best teams in the world. They don't seem destined for that. So this is the scary part of having them as own owners.
Yeah, do you know what's so sus about it though? Like, if you were gonna pull back, like for example, budget. Say for example, the Cronkies are like everybody's believing they're pulling back budget now. Then why not have sacked? Why not have sacked Arteta? Because you were guys were the ones that employed Arteta, and then like supposedly backed him. So
why would you
now
re-sign the guy and then not back him when you backed him so far to this point?
Well, you know what they want?
Tony,
they want a
that's
yes man. They don't want somebody who's ambitious, who actually wants to overachieve.
Nah.
Right? You know, I've been saying that this
Nah.
overachievement thing. You see, you know, these really good managers come in there with the same squad and do much better. I don't think they want that here. They must not want that. I mean, we'll see. We'll see by the end of the transfer window if they did. If this is just like a smoke screen or something. But
it is a smoke screen.
It doesn't surprise us, does it? Does anybody feel surprised by that?
I just don't believe it because with parts of Jesus, we know aren't true. We know he agreed personal teams. We know we made bids for him. And that article says we didn't. So I just think the whole article is bullshit.
Well, it is interesting that we were so bent on getting Vlahovic, right? And now it seems like we're stretching just to make ends meet to get Gabriel, right, or Tielemans. I mean, hello there, Dave. How you doing? You guys must be happy today, right? You got your Ford, right?
He's got the Ferrari. He's got like a Ferrari in the garage now. But my question to Liverpool is, they're going to do a little bit more business, but will they be able to get a bigger? They need something in midfield. If they get a couple of injuries in midfield, they could be stretched a little bit. I think they may have pushed the boat out a little bit to get Nunez in there. But I think personally they needed to address midfield. Maybe they're going to address midfield, but I'd be curious.
If they get any monies for Mane, then they'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to spend more.
I still think both of them are out.
Can they spend another 40 million to get a decent midfielder in there to help Thiago, Fabinho, Henderson, Keita? I mean, they've got a decent midfield, but
they found Diaz, right? They found Diaz. Jota was, they found Jota. I mean, they don't need like the best of the best sometimes, right? Because those names weren't like tops of like on the anybody's transfer list, right? Most of the players aren't like tops on the list. They're really surprisers, and then they turned out good,
go
right?
For somebody like Neves.
I
don't know. My suspicion would be they're keeping Milner, they're keeping Henderson because they needed to go big for a striker. And my suspicion would be they may not be able to spend big for a midfielder, and they're going to go with what they have outside of a couple of the young players coming through and getting another season under their belt. But we'll see, Dave, what's going on over at Liverpool right now. You're doing business, and we are.
I'm curious that Dave thinks Sane and Salah will both go.
Mane and Salah.
Yeah.
Mane will go. Salah will stay. That's the way.
Yeah. Let him go for free. They're gonna let him go for free, right?
Which one?
Salah.
This is ridiculous, though.
A year left. They both got a year left.
Yeah, and I
think
this is ridiculous. We'll get to that one right here. I think that Salah has, for me, a little bit of a touch of Aubameyang situation for me. I wonder.
But he can afford to do that, though. He's been one of the top attacking. He's not a striker. He's a part of the attack. But one of the top attackers in any league, alone the Premier League, in all of Europe. Yeah. So he can actually demand those type of things. Whether or not it's worth it to take a gamble again on Salah as he's getting a little bit older. I mean, I would, but not on ridiculous wages, for example. But still, though, he's gotten himself into a position where he can.
Tony will tell you he was against Aubameyang getting the contract, but a lot of us wanted Aubameyang and thought we needed Aubameyang to be paid well for that contract.
Well, I don't think Liverpool is going to spend money and then all of a sudden decide, you know what, whatever he was good at, we're not going to go down that road anymore. I mean, that's more my problem. Isn't that they spent the money? They decided, you know what, this is going to go down a different path. This is not the way we play football anymore. So I don't think the big teams do that. They kind of have a plan. Whether or not they fit is one thing, but they don't go away from the strengths of the player. You know what I mean?
Liverpool will have to adapt their play a little bit to Nunez, and Nunez will have to adapt his play a little bit to Liverpool. And it's going to be just interesting to see how that works out.
I don't think so. I think you just fit in. There is a hole, there's gaps, and his skill sets that fill the gaps.
Yeah, quick.
I don't think they're gonna go. All right, Darwin Nunez, we're gonna change all these changes so you can play well here. I don't think they're gonna do that. That makes no sense.
Well, they're gonna. Do you think they'll cross more balls into the box because he's taller?
Like I told you, I don't think they're gonna change their
They're not gonna change the system
so that Darwin Nunez
to suit him.
Is good when
he has to fit into Klopp's
We just saw them play for four trophies.
All right,
it's not like they have to change that much to get him to to acclimate to the way they play.
Tony, our two substitutes have given us a lot of energy in the last 4 or 5 minutes, so let's hope they keep that going, right? Let's hope they keep that going. The Assemble said you were going to tackle this comment. Misfit, if Nketiah is 100 a week, are you surprised Gnabry is looking for Ozil wages?
Disgusting. Why on earth are we possibly going to give Eddie Nketiah, the boy? Why are we giving him? Why would we possibly be giving him 100? It's again a whole yes man situation, like we were talking about 5 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago. They wanted a yes man. This is why they've got somebody like Arteta, because now instead of signing 2 proper strikers, so for example, you're going to get Jesus in, which is looking more than likely. Jesus, and then guess who's going to be the second? Guess who's going to be the second striker? Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah is a trash footballer. Oh my God! I hope he sees this podcast. Please.
Does trash mean something good? Like
no,
trash means trash. Garbage.
Horrible. My grandmother, if I call her now, she'd be scoring more goals than Eddie Nketiah.
Gary, I know all the young people have different kind of language, but
they twist things up on us, right? Bad meaning bad, not bad meaning good.
No. Not this time. Not this time. No, not this time.
Sick.
Horrible.
All right, so I'm going to throw something out. Everyone's going to come at me for this one, right? But I'm going to throw.
Let's go.
Let's go. Do you think Arsenal, because they didn't get Champions League football, is going to be hard to attract the best strikers in the world?
No.
They will wait another season. No. Just get Jesus. Just get Nketiah. Maybe get a winner.
Got a World Cup, right?
No. Did you hear me out?
No. They can go out and get there and get most of the players that they want, most of the players that they need. There's only a few players that they can get that are most destined for Champions League play, and we're not getting the Salahs, the Marnes. We're not going after them, right? The Haalands, right? Lewandowski's. Those are the levels that we just don't. We don't need it right now. We're not there. We're not there.
So my question is, if players won't come to a Champions League on Arsenal unless they have Champions League, would Arsenal wait one more season till
what players? I just told you the ones we're not going after those players. The players you're talking about, we're not going after them.
No Nunes, no Haaland. All the top players, definitely not. But I can tell you guys now, though, we are still able to attract high-level players, though, above average. I'm talking about good players, actually, such as the Jesuses, the Bazumas, the who else? The Neves, Tielemans. I want all 4 of them, to be honest with you guys. If I had the money, I would just say, Gary, Tony, okay, you guys heat up this. You heat up, Gary, you heat up Tielemans for me, please, and Neves. Tony, just go get Bazuma and Jesus in, and then Ray, leave it up to the guys. They've got it sorted.
That's why the Chronicles didn't win Champions League, because they would have been exposed. They would have had to spend a lot more.
You know what you have to work when you show some success, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they don't want to do that. So, and they keep showing. Every time we think, all right, maybe they're not. Nope. They go, no. We really want to save some money here, and it's like, what are you saving money for?
As Steven said here, let's face it. Even if they give Arteta 150 million, it won't be anywhere near enough to get the minimum 8 players we need. Is this going to be quality over quantity?
Yeah, but Arteta said he only wants 25 players.
If they give him 150 and he sells the players that they're supposed to sell, that's another player at least, another quality player. If they're able to sell,
at least
like
50
Pepe,
million, Jerry.
I mean, if you think of it, Maitland-Niles, if you add all that up, that's a decent player. If that's
about 50.
But if they're not giving 150 and they're saying, you know what, you got to bring 75 and we'll bring 75, then yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen because we don't sell good anyway. So,
what about Scamacca? I mean, there's been some rumors that he's willing to leave Italy and play abroad. I hear.
Yeah, apparently
they want more money than we're willing to pay.
Yeah, that's true, Tony. And apparently, if rumors are true, he does want to. He would actually like to come and join our team, the Gunners. So yeah, man, that's updates.
I mean, Arsenal has really good. I think they have a good. They look good to players coming in. I mean, especially if you're, depending on what position you're looking at. I mean, there are positions for you to come. If you're a striker, if you're a midfielder, if you can play as a fullback, there's spots for you to come in and do what you do best, right? So.
Yeah,
why not? And it's not. We struggled, and all the youth are, looking really good, right? So you can come in there, and you're going to get some young legs helping you out. So I kind of feel like, why not? Why not?
And Gary,
midfield definitely. Possibly left back, possibly right back, and central of defense. Yeah, I mean, right up front, in the middle, midfield, and left back, right back, and there's a position possibly at one of the centre back slots. I would say if I was actually a defender and I was a centre back, and Arsenal came calling, I would be like, hey, let me go take Benjamin's spot right off of him.
And this is why we feel confident about Gabriel Jesus. He sees the position that he can play in. He can walk.
Oh, yes.
And be
easy money.
Samuel says, Stephen, that's your conclusion. I was thinking the same thing, but then I realized incompetence sometimes disguised as cunning. Reality is we came fifth when it was easier to come fourth. Man United fans and reporters were saying that they were close to making a deal with Nunez. I don't know how. When Nunez said weeks ago that he didn't want to join. It's the situation. Everything comes in cycles, and 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, like Arsenal, United would have been a destination, Tony. But now it's Liverpool. The cycle has changed, Tony.
Yeah, it just changed. They haven't been the same without Fergie, even though they can go out and put out the money, bring in the players. They can get virtually anybody they want, but whether the players wanting to go there is kind of a different story. But the agent will say, hey, they want you. They're willing to put out the money. They can still virtually get any player they want.
We do have 3 more substitutions we can make, so it is possible, Tony. It is possible it can happen.
What's going to happen, Tony's going to have to go sit on the bench.
Gary, we just scored a brace amongst the two of us, 3 goals.
This is typical Arsenal. First half, there's like 20 shots on goal, 1 on target. Subs come in, next thing you know, 5 shots on goals, two goals.
2 goals, 3 goals.
2 own goals, Gary. 2 own goals.
I'm happy to come off. I'm scored.
So no, that's not going to happen. Sorry.
Me and my striking partner have scored tonight, so you guys can sub us out. Just don't throw the game.
Tony?
You guys are like this. You guys are set up, man. You're the setup man.
Why do we have Lacazette on the?
You set us up. You make it look really good for us. That's all it is.
Gary,
it's beautiful.
You know what, Tony?
Yeah,
and
man.
I did?
You guys worked hard, and then
we came on and we tired out the team.
You definitely did. You know, it's like when somebody asks me to open up the jar, right? They say, "Can you open this jar for me?" And they've been working on it for like an hour, and you come in, you say, "Pop," and you're like, "Thank you for all the help." You know, so that's what you guys did.
we tired the team out. You came in all fresh, and you started scoring a couple of goals.
There you go.
Fair enough. What's cooking?
Oh, beautiful, man.
Mr. Bungle.
Hey, what's cooking? What's cooking? Not our transfer business.
Yep, not yet.
Transfer business right now. I'm starving over here.
Okay, so Gary, I'm going to let you in on the prediction that I made. If by next Sunday something positive has not really happened with Gabriel Jesus, we should start to get worried, right?
We should already be getting worried.
7 days from now.
We should already be getting worried. When is the last game for Brazil?
It was in the last.
I think it was today.
It was canceled.
Yeah.
Argentina.
So there's nothing going on, and the window's open. So Arsenal, if you're really gonna he should be. The paperwork should already be sent right now. Right? Yeah. And if they're gonna pay the money to City, then they're paying it. Otherwise, move on because it's a waste. For me, it's a waste, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have time to be sitting on Gabriel if they don't really want to spend the money. Get somebody else, exactly. Right? I mean, because think about it. We can, even if we don't get
no English people.
What do you mean? I'm English born, anyways. So there you go. There's your English, right? I'm sorry, I don't sound like it. You know?
Oh, sorry, Alonso, man.
I hope you're feeling better.
Take something for. I won't lie to you guys now. Before I came online, I mean, I've got energy now and everything, but. I had some dodgy pizza, man. Even I was for 5-10 minutes. I was checking. Am I really gonna not miss the podcast because I'll be sick? It was dodgy, and I had a dodgy milkshake as well. So thank goodness it's out of the system.
Why don't you send some of that to the Spurs on the final game of the season?
Yeah, I thought sick was good.
all these lasagna meals getting sent, and you had an end too, and you didn't. Come on, you're slacking, man. You're slacking, man. You gotta bring 100%. Come on, stop this.
Yeah. Sorry, man. After having scored those 2 goals, not Gary. I don't know. That energy is a bit much.
Right, one of our homegrown players.
There you go.
All right.
Homegrown ratio.
All right, so we should we jump on, since Mr. Tom is still here with us, we should jump into Rafinha. Tony, what's your thoughts on the Rafinha links?
I'm thinking they're carrying weight because we kind of not heard much about Gnabry. I think he probably gets better offers from clubs that will be in the Champions League. But definitely we're seeking a senior, well-proven winger. I think he checks all those boxes. I'd go out and do it. They need the money. We need the player. I don't think it's going to be too hard to get it across the line. I think it's easier than some of the other wingers we're looking at. So I'd go get it done.
And Gary's one of the homegrown players, but Tony's been with the fan circle for 3 seasons. So
talking about English. We're talking about the English, not the Arsenal fan circle.
So Tony is like Saliba. He's going to be deemed one of those.
I'm homegrown.
He's a homegrown player.
He's an MLS player. You know, he's a Turner. He's coming in. He's definitely a
Turner. Head Turner, Gary.
Gary,
yes.
Some people were saying, some conspiracy theories saying Saka's on his way, but it probably is more Pepe's on his way, right? If these links to Rafinha are to be believed. Not Saka.
Well, right? You know what? I don't care. We need somebody to sit next to Partey. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. I think they should sell it. They should try to sell him just because of the dynamics of the squad to not create any animosity and create any issues with team unity and all that kind of stuff. He needs to go because I think they've put a lot of pressure on him and made him the centerpiece of this whole squad thing. You know what I mean? Outside of the captain. So Partey needs better next to him. We need a Partey level person next to Partey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we need somebody better behind him. Whichever way, whatever you want to do. If you want to push Partey up, or if you want to have, we talked about the duel. We talked about like Basuma, right? The quality's there, so you have different options. We need to do something in the midfield to get much better, right? It would be nice if Erdegaard was like, the weak link in the three, right? In terms of the levels that they've been playing at in the Premier League. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that.
Zaka. I don't know what you're talking about, Gary.
I'm back.
We're talking about wingers. You're talking about the midfield.
Yeah,
the wingers. No, I like. You know what, Rafinha. We need lots of help. So if they're not going to
pay attention, Marty.
Sorry. I'll take Rafinha, but I thought
Gary just scored an own goal.
Stop it.
If
Gabriel's not the man, then go get the next man. All right. Gabriel
Martinelli.
Jesus, man, we're talking about people on the front,
well,
right?
Yeah, so for the right wing, Pepe's toast, right? We've been talking. You've been telling me this.
Yeah, but how much are you going to get for Pepe?
It doesn't matter.
Are you even going to get?
It doesn't matter. We paid $7 million to our goal scorer who had what? It's not money is nothing. We throw money out the window. You ever see that the meme with the kid throwing the cash out the window? That's Arsenal. Talking about we're going to do things better next time, and then tomorrow they're throwing the money out the window. So.
Is anybody going to be disappointed that we get 26 or 27 for him? Nope.
We're not going to get that for him because we're poor.
There's already offers for him that much, Gary.
Arsenal will screw it up and say, you know what? No. They think, we're supposed to pay 26. That's what they're going to do, something silly.
This is where trust has to be earned, somebody. Trust has to be earned.
Yeah, definitely. There you go, Ray. See, I just see you're good for something. There you go.
Yeah. Trust has to be earned with the fans, and Gary does not trust Arsenal to do the right thing still yet.
Nah. When was the last time we sold a player? You went, that was a good deal for that player.
I'm really thinking Martin might be the second or third.
Yeah, but these are like 2 in the last 10 windows or something ridiculous like that.
Iwobi Sama.
It has been few and far between. Oxlade-Chamberlain was another one. Yeah, we've had to go back. We've had to go back a few years, and some people said, if you got 30 or 40 million for Tierney, would you sell right now? I would sell Tierney for 40 million.
Yeah, apparently because of the whole injuries to Tierney all the time, though. Otherwise, I mean, we love the guy. We would love to see him week in, week out, but I think due to injuries wise, yeah. That's why they're looking at another left back. This other, I think is he Scottish or something, man? I'm trying to think now. Hickey. Sorry, yeah, Hickey.
Why are we talking about the back when we're talking about Rafinha?
We're jumping.
Sorry.
Over the place,
we were talking about Rafinha. We regress. If Pepe is to be sold, the dodgy pizza strikes. Yes. If Pepe is to be sold, which I don't think we're even gonna get 20. I don't know about Rafinha, fam. Like,
I think he's really good. I think you know what? If he was playing like, sorry, Mr. Tom, but if Leeds, I don't know if they had better players or a different kind of approach to the game, but he's always a threat, right? He's always a threat to me. If the teams knew about him, that's why he didn't get much freedom. You know what I mean? So. If he played on a team where he get a little bit more freedom or be put in more attacking positions, going forward, he'd be having fun. I mean, that's
absolutely.
Let me just say one thing negative about Arteta. He did the right thing when we played Leeds. He put our best defender on their best attacker. He did the wrong thing when we played that team down the road. He didn't put our best defender on.
You saying Holding isn't our best defender? Against the Golden Boot winner.
Well, that tells you how Arteta values Rafinha. He values Rafinha because he put Tomiyasu on Rafinha.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. I don't think we even had Tomiyasu for that game, did we?
Yeah,
we did. Oh, that's right. He was on the other side of the pitch. taking pictures
all the way over there.
No,
all the way over there. And Sun was all the way here.
That's right. We're like, he's going to be on the same
Well,
side.
that's what all the fans asked for. They asked him to play his left. They didn't want him on the right, even though he had Son over there.
And Tony, Stephen said we should bite the bullet with Pepe last season. Sometimes holding on to a player loses you more money. You know, I'm thinking about Tierney. I'm thinking we have to start moving in different ways. If a player is not working for us and he's not able to play,
I don't understand why we didn't sell him last summer if Arteta wasn't going to play him at all.
Exactly.
Well,
Me, you, and Gary each had him with double-digit assists and goals. We figured 10 of each.
Who's that for?
Pepe.
Easy.
Arsenal have a recent history of turning money into nothing. It has to be all and nothing anymore. When you say all or nothing, we have to.
It's not even recent. It's been the last fucking decade.
We have to start getting more all and less nothing when it comes to moving players on and doing business right way. Not because we're shelling out money right now for a squad that has been way underperforming. Gary, not messing about today, Tony. You better get a move on fast, Tony. Yeah. Listen, Russ, I believe in Pepe. I believe if he would be played. Gary believes that as well. I think a lot of people here.
No, Xhaka's still slow, Alonso. He's still immobile. He's not good enough. End of story.
We'll get to that, Tony.
Another team will take Pepe. And he'll be a beast if he was in Newcastle team, playing the maximum role. He'd score plenty of goals because he can do everything.
Okay, I don't know about that. But
Pepe will get you goals.
Maxim, for me, seems like a powerhouse coming through the middle of the pitch. Pepe hasn't done that. I don't know if he did that before. I don't believe so. But if he was playing on the outside of Maxim, I think those two would be really terrible for those playing against him.
I think they would get a similar amount of goals if they played a full season, but you would feel differently about the players. I think that's fair.
Yeah, if he got minutes, if he got starting minutes, definitely, right? I mean,
Maximilian, not Maximilian. He just gives you more of a feel that he's gonna.
He can control the middle, right? In terms of like if somebody comes on his back, he can do that, or he'll go right by them. If depending on whatever you want him to do, he'll do the other thing, and he'll still pay for it. Pepe can't do that, right? But it'd be crazy to see both of them on the same pitch up top together. So,
Ross, that's the problem. The star of Arsenal team is the manager. If you believe different, you're out. There's a bit of an ego thing there, and that's why. Pepe has not worked for Arteta, and Arteta.
What views on Xhaka? We could have finished 20th, first. It doesn't matter. We still
Alonso, sorry.
I don't know what changes.
Yeah. Let me preface that with one thing. To get fourth, Granit Xhaka would have had to been sent off less and be involved in situations less. And if that was the situation, Alonso, if Xhaka wasn't involved in red cards, and he was, if we saw signs of Xhaka progressing in these areas, then we would maybe accept him more. I think we don't accept Xhaka because he makes silly mistakes in very silly critical times of games.
Listen here, the funny thing is, Alonso, even if there was youngsters, say if I had sons, right? Say for example, I had two young sons, maybe like 12-ish, 14-ish, right? And these two sons of mine, even though I've told them multiple times, we have no bloody idea what position this guy. Name me one thing that Xhaka does that is expert level at, even if it's just like through balls, for example, or crosses or something, right? And my sons tell me, Dad, listen here, Xhaka is actually a very good player. He's a great player, man. And we go to the game, and guess what? Xhaka looks my son as part of the crowd. He looks at my young sons and tells them to fuck off. What are my sons gonna say? How are they gonna come back to me and say, Dad, we still back this guy?
Yeah,
we still back this guy. Yeah. They'd have no argument. And these are These are gonna be my kids. How am I gonna tell my son so nicely that listen here, you may love this guy, but he's just told you to your face. Actually, I don't want to explain to you what fuck off means, but like I want to break my heart.
I think
I'll be left in a predicament, man.
I think a lot of people can forgive but not forget, and I think Arsenal fans, some will forgive, but none of us will forget what happened.
You know what? He can't back it up.
My whole point of backing.
He can't back that up. He can't back it
My
up.
whole point.
He
That's
can flick
exactly
me
what
off
I'm saying.
all he wants, and then turn around and go do something, and I go, all right, well, damn. But he does. He's never done that yet. He's never. I've never he's never been like, all right, Xhaka was the man in this game, stand out across the board. Everybody's like, he's had good games, but I don't think he's had like player of the game moments for me. Anyways, I don't notice it. Maybe that's why.
Against United, the United game, I think we gave him man in the match.
Yeah, I didn't.
One this season.
I guess I didn't. I'm not going to see it. I guess he's going to have to stand out a lot more for me, I guess.
Yeah. But the first thing we want to see from Granit Xhaka is not picking up red cards. If he can go a whole season without a red card.
I don't know. It's too late. It's the same thing with it's the same thing with Nelson, Nketiah, Maitland-Niles. All of these, we've seen it. We've seen it, done it. Let's move on. All right.
You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough, man.
Steven said Tierney will be a good rotation player. We should keep him and get another quality left back to rotate them. Tierney wouldn't have as many injuries if we didn't rely on him much. I will give him this season. I will give him this final season for Tierney. There's no World Cup. Scotland have not qualified for the World Cup. He's going to get himself a nice winter break. And we need to see 2-3 month seasons from
you. Do you actually think he'll make it through the 25 or 26 games we're going to play?
Hand on heart.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets past 25 games.
How many games do you think he'll play out of the 26 games that we potentially may play going into before the World Cup break?
Well, a lot of those are 15. A lot of those are cup games.
No, but it doesn't matter, right? How many games do you think he's going to play?
How many league games are in that?
Probably it's got to be almost half the season, right? Or not?
Let's say 19 wouldn't be really half.
Probably it's probably about 15 or 12 to 15 Premier League games, probably.
Let's make it around 16. Is that fair? 16 games. He would need to play 10 for me.
You think he'll do that? Thinking about this, he's only given us just over 20 in the last number of years.
Yeah, I think he'll make 10.
Plus, he'll play. You'll think he'll play every Europa League game? No. And no cup games.
I don't think he'll play many cup games.
5 and.
So you think 10? So that's probably what 15 out of the 25.
Yeah,
games
15 so far.
He'll probably play.
I think cup games maybe. About
you talk about a total season then?
Up till the break.
Up till the break, there's about 6. Let's say 16 league games. If he makes 10, I'll be happy with that.
And nothing else. But you
have another 22 after the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of he got to play. He's going to have to play in some of the Europa League games. And
not
maybe
in the groups. He doesn't
probably
have to
about 4
group stages.
What if we get a tough group? I don't know.
I don't think we will. We're going to be one of the seeded teams.
We had one of the easiest things, and we still subbed, right? I go back to that all the time.
What?
I'm hoping you're right that he's learned, and the team he sees the team is stronger, and he'll go to his youth.
But last time we were in the Europa League, we played. We won.
We didn't play anybody tough. Nobody tough.
I know, but you said we had one of the toughest. I'm like, what?
No, I said no. I said he didn't, and he didn't rotate.
Who was the last few games? Anyways. Where did we get in the Europa League last? We ended
2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Did we go into? Were we in the final?
Yeah, we were in the semis. Remember, we lost to.
Oh damn! Who did we play again?
Emery.
Oh no! That is a bad evening, man. Oh man, I remember now.
He's forgotten.
Flashback.
Sorry.
So I was not trying to go there. I was not trying to go there. I was just trying to talk about this. Oh, see what you did there?
Oh.
See what you did there?
Oh, great. What did you do?
Not only that, we started talking about Xhaka, and
I want to know how you buried that one so you couldn't remember.
Thinking he's in
No,
pain.
you just gave me a flashback, fam. Oh, my brain is hemorrhaging. Oh, I'm about to pass out here. My heart. Oh.
Xhaka is so cunning that he doesn't play. He's so cunning that he doesn't play Pepe and devalues him more than he was worth last season.
Yep.
I think it's
We were wondering
it's ridiculous.
why he wasn't being played.
See, the thing is, we continue to do this now. Every season, we look back at a player and we're like, "Well, if you weren't going to play, then why didn't you sell him?"
Yeah.
Right? If he wasn't going to be part of your rotation when it really counted at the end of the season, right?
Mm.
If you can't afford to put him in then because you don't want him, then he should have went in January, at the least, right? Because we are depleted and we need scoring in some of these games. He's not coming off the bench. Yeah, see, that's the part.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't need to be here.
Yeah. It's his favorite. This guy.
I will agree with Mr. Tom. I'd be shocked also if Xhaka makes it out of August without being booked. That's a yellow card, you know. DWTT, more than likely Xhaka will play the majority as he doesn't get injured. And the one good thing he can do, Mahir, he is a good passer. He is a good passer with his left foot. That's all Xhaka can do.
Get out of here. Jump off a bridge, man. Ray, I love you and everything. Jump off a bridge with your
this Thunder Road. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Put it in a backpack.
You asked the question.
Woohoo!
You asked the question.
Hey, you know what? The guy's wide open. You guys are not passing. That's why you're just playing patty cake on the back line, going back and forth. You know?
No, man,
you gotta look upfield.
It's this guy. It's this guy in defense. He's supposed to be guarding the midfield, and he's letting everybody break his ankles. And
Thunder Road said Ray and Tony played it out from the back during the stream just for Gary and the drunk guy to come aboard for a tap on. Mahir, you're not drunk. Mahir doesn't drink, right? You don't drink.
No,
right?
Thunder Road. It is very forbidden, my guy. If you do bump into any guys that do, but they don't associate themselves with us. Just by the way.
Where is Tony? So Tony got tired, and he needed Gary and Mahir to take some of the pressure off him, but he said he wanted to get substituted, and he just went left. He's in the changing room right now. He's having a shower.
He felt left out because we kept scoring without him, and he said, "I'm taking my ball and I'm going home."
I am here. So Rafinha, that looks like it might be one of our wishes. Not really.
That should be like as soon as Gabriel talks it broken down, which should happen in a day or two. If they need to get just as good, I think Rafinha would be really good to bring in, but. You know how we work. You know how we do, man. We don't do that well.
And that would be a different position. That would be a winger position. To
more for Pepe than anything else.
Jared Bowen, probably a really difficult link for me to make.
Like Ray, I don't understand this, man. I don't understand. So if we want quality, can we just go get quality? I'm not saying Bowen is a bad player. I'm not saying Rafinha is a bad player, but. Surely you need people to kick on. You're up a level. You sell Granit Xhaka. No,
we can't overpay. We definitely can't overpay for Bowen, right? Because we still need a
but
striker.
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be expensive.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
it's going to be expensive.
He's a quality player. Jared Bowen is.
How old is Bowen?
24, 25.
Okay, so. All the players we're looking at the moment, the average age is 25. They're mostly 25, 24, 25, 24 all time.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's not that they're bad players. I'm just saying if you want to up your level, you can't. I'm to be honest with you, I'm just sick of talking about Arteta. I'm sick about talking of Arteta because all this Arteta backing, you backing him and backing him and backing him, but you're wasting all the money, and with the good players we're having, he's letting go for free. And if he's not letting them go for free, he's ruining their value, as in not playing them. For example, Pepe. It happened with Ober, even though Ober had to probably go, and I'm glad he's banging in goals at Barcelona because that's my second club. And then who's the other one? But good players. Sell Granit Xhaka and sell Elneny and Maitland-Niles. Bring in Guendouzi. Bring in Torreira. I would have much rather preferred it that way. Much rather preferred it that way. I don't understand what's going on though.
The sample said Ray suffering with calf problems like Partey, overworked, looking for a partner to share the workload, and needing substitutions to come in as well. Ray, did you see that report about a South African team here? Banned for life for match fixing. 41 own goals in 2 games. I don't know. Notice.
After like the 5 own goals,
what?
Something's up, right?
I would have to check that. I would have to check that.
41 own goals in 2 games. After like 2 own goals, you see a suspect, right? Something suspect about that.
Yeah. Mr. Tom said, I think Arsenal should make an opening bid of 100 million for Rafinha.
Yeah.
I thought Mr. Tom said he'd take 60 million for him.
No, I know. He's just trying to single-handedly up the bid. More. You know, when you have somebody who started bidding more, but he's not really involved. He's just like going like this.
He's just making up numbers. Yeah.
The auction's getting higher and higher. The other link was Richarlison to Arsenal, but now it seems like it might be going to that team. I'm quite comfortable with Richarlison going to that team. We don't want him right here.
No, thank you. No, I don't want him. Tony, you want him, fam?
He can fuck off to that place.
Gary, you need him?
Gary, the situation with that team down the road is they're buying players that will sit behind other players. Richarlison's going to sit behind the other players, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Anybody that we would pick up to maybe start as a, a right winger or a striker, if they're interested in going there, yeah, who are they going to push to the bench? So yeah, you're right. Nah, I mean, like I said, I think Richarlison is lower on the list for me. Even he's like 3rd and 4th option maybe, based on where I think we're looking. So in terms of, and then also in terms of importance to what we want to do. So not really further down the line for me.
Does that worry you that what they're doing with Richarlison? Do you think he's a player that, for me now, I'm not really too worried about it because, he's going to sit on the bench behind Son or Kane, and he's going to come on and be a substitute for them. The only thing is, if teams get tired, they can take a Son or a Kane off and bring Richarlison on.
Yes, definitely. That's a scary part about him being on that team is because they can do, and if you do have 5 subs, he's going to probably get to play, and they're in a Champions League, so even probably more opportunities for him to play. So
they are spending a lot of money on this player now. I don't think he's valued for money. I think he's got some discipline problems. Conte might be able to handle him, but Steven said we would have to pay about 30 million to get Guendouzi back after selling him for 11 million to Marseille. Yes. Both that ship has sailed, in my opinion.
So here's the little story on that South African team. 4th tier, they lost 2 games in that 2-game stretch, 33-1 and 59-1. 41 own goals.
There must be something in that.
Well, they lost 33-1 to the team that was fighting for the top position in the table, and I think, something fishy's going on here. So 94 goals in 2 games, and Arsenal can't get 70 in a season. I mean, come on, something's just not. What's going on here?
We'll wind this one up in the next 15 or 20 minutes, I think. But Richarlison, Tottenham, I'm happy with them spending their money. Jed Spence is a good player. I think they're going to pick up there, but they spend a lot of money on the right backs in the last 2 years. Doherty's come in. Matt Doherty not set the world alight. Emerson Royale has not been great either. And now they're going with Jed Spence, a championship player who has to make that step up. Maybe he's going to be depth behind Emerson Royale there. John Wayne said, before I forget, panel and chat, this was a very entertaining stream so far.
Thank you
very much. We are in the slowdown period of the season. We're talking about things that are going on around the league, things that are being linked to Arsenal, whether they be really good links or not such good links, and we're making opinions on that. Steven, so how bad is that league if they thought that they could do that and they thought they could do that and nobody would notice? Yeah, indeed. I keep the comment section entertained.
How do you do 41 own goals? Like what do you like? What? Like,
tell your goalie to move and just kick it in the back of a net.
The goalkeeper trips every time the back pass comes. Is that what happens?
If you beat him with a trout, couldn't get any fish here, or one of those sea fish as well, even fishier, or a slimy full of omega-3 fish assembled. I know, right? All right. Tielemans, we feel good about Tielemans as well.
Yep.
Do you think we should go for another striker then after Jesus? And what would be your candidates, Gary?
Well, I mean, that you say Bowen, I could actually see that being a second striker to bring in. So that would be, so
yeah,
I could see him.
Bowen is principally, he can play through the middle, but he principally would come from the right wing for West Ham. And that would be either Rafinha or Jared Bowen, but it's going to be a lot of money. Or Sharma here supporting Arsenal from India.
Hello,
sir. Hello.
Yeah, no,
international Gooner.
See, this is where I go. For like less than 20, we had two strikers that we could have picked up last season. There's nobody like that. There's no Edouard or Daka out there right now, right? What 15 to 25 million pound striker are you looking at right now? There's not any like that you're like, okay, that would be really good to bring in, and that's what those players cost, right? And that's why I think we keep missing the here is here is an easy one, right? Go get them now. We didn't do it, and now we're gonna have to pay extra. I mean, the fact that we're looking at, we had looked at a striker for like 70 mil, and we're struggling now to get one for 50. It's like, make it make sense for me, please.
Make the price make sense, Mr. Tom. Can you
it keeps going up. It keeps going up, man.
Yeah, come on, bring it back the other way. It's not 120.
Yeah, he's Mr. Tom's not all there. They say just not all there. There's something not right there with that guy.
He's smoking what Tony smokes.
Yeah, something.
Like the night in Monty Python. Couple of options, Gary. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's gone a bit quiet, or Ivan Toney. Premiership would be an option B or a plan B.
Those two are like talking almost 100 mil for those with Jesus, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, and
look at Liverpool. This is the going rate. Liverpool paying almost 100 million. Arsenal are going to have to do something similar.
Yeah, but they're talking about what Darwin Nunez talking one of the best players out there in the market. Haaland, one of the best players. I mean, I was listening to the U.S. commentary today, and they were like saying Haaland is the best player in football today, which I thought was a stretch. I don't believe he's the best player today in football.
No.
I think there's a lot of people that could sit him down if that was the case. But he's definitely one of the best young players out there. Some people might say Darwin Nunez might be the best. We'll see when they play. I guess they'll play each other a couple times, right?
Yeah.
if it all works out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Ivan Toney. We shall see what happens. Let's
whichever one is the cheaper one, I would say get him. You know what I mean? Not because I think it. I want to downgrade. I just think you're gonna need to save some money for some other things as well. So is that Dominic? Is that DCL because of the injuries, or is that Tony because he plays at Brentford?
They will come with the English tax as well, the famous English tax. I think one of the final. This podcast gone pretty quick. I don't know if it was me and Tony at the start, and then boosted by the substitutes coming in. But it went pretty quick for me. I think the final thing to talk about is Bernd Leno and the news that maybe Fulham's going to pick up Bernd Leno, our goalkeeper.
I don't mind him leaving. I just don't think. I think once again he's worth more than 10 mil, right? I mean, he's a starting goalkeeper in the world. I don't think those things are cheap.
Market and other people have him valued at, but he's worth a lot more than that.
Well, I think he's a starting. I think they're doing that probably because he didn't play much this season, but it's not like
he's on his final year, Gary. That's the reason.
He's a starting goalkeeper in the league. There's not many starting goalkeepers in the league, in the world. You know what I mean? That are available, and teams who have poor goalkeepers are not willing to pay much. I don't get it. I mean, I think he's worth more than the 10. I definitely think so. I understand he's only got 1 year left, but we're not talking like the 45, 50 that Gabriel gives you. But I think he's worth it. He's worth it, right?
Yeah. And hopefully the Premier League club coming up, Fulham, will be able to, shell out a little bit more. We can push the price up a little bit. Tony BX Skinner said Fulham will try to stay up this time. And, signing a good goalkeeper like Bernd Leno, he's going to save more shots, some of those shots that would ordinarily go in against them. So,
you still have to have a decent back four in front of him. Even though he is a great shot stopper, but he still needs people to help him out.
Mm-hmm. Fulham making a concerted effort to stay up.
Stephen.
Thanks, Stephen.
I figured he'd go to Germany or something. I figured he'd go back to Germany. Really hard for me to see.
Yeah, I did see that report that he wants to stay in London, so he would pick a team in London if he could. So
his missus must be happy.
Well, Leno's leaving Arsenal because he wants to get a place in the World Cup squad for Germany. Right now, he's not even third choice, I believe. The German team that won the Europa League, that goalkeeper has taken his spot in the squad. So Leno wants to leave Arsenal to play. He wants to play so he can get a place in the World Cup. And more often than not, this summer season, Tony, players will be motivated to move to either maintain their national team spot or break into the squad.
And they don't have long to do it either. Season starting, at least England starts August 8th. November 18th, the tournament starts. So basically, you got 3 months, less than 3 months for most of the leagues, 2.5 months to prove.
And that's so that's another thing, right? They I guess hurt Leno's chances, right? And let him go, and it didn't let him go. And then other players, they do let him go, and it's like, that's why I didn't think that. That's why I thought Ramsdale didn't make any sense if you had Leno, and then when you got Ramsdale, then maybe you need to let him go, because like you said, like the value definitely has dropped, and now the urgency for him to go is going to be high. So now you're going to be pressed to have to let him go to wherever he wants to go, and either take a loss on the value that you put on his head just because he wants out. Right.
Let's hope Turner's a good enough backup. Don't want to have that problem again.
Yep. That is going to be the key. I guess hopefully we'll find out. Hopefully not like the last time we brought in a backup, right? So.
Yeah, somebody that throws it into a back of their own net.
Yeah, palms it in. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we don't want any own goals at Arsenal. Okay. All right, so that's Bernd Leno. We'll see what happens with Bernd Leno. Last topic. Then the fixtures are released on Thursday. We will be having a podcast on Thursday to go through the fixture list and navigate our way through the it's going to be 2 sections. This coming season is going to be unique. There'll be 2 sections. We go, as Tony said, August 6th till I think November 6th or 10th or something like that. And then it picks up in the 26th of December and finishes till May. So
let's call it Boxing Day. We all know it's Boxing Day.
Stephen's Day in Ireland.
We don't care what it's called in Ireland, Dave.
Right. How good is Matt Turner? I've heard some mixed reports on him.
I mean, I think, like I said, I think the initial thoughts were that he was battling for the number 1 spot and then got injured and all of that. And as soon as he was matched with Arsenal, he let in 2 goals pretty cheaply. So, I don't know if that's a curse or not. So.
Leno hasn't, as Stephen said, Leno hasn't thought it through properly when he said he wanted to go. Istanbul said, Stephen, he's an international goalkeeper. Why would he want to be a backup to Ramsdale? He wants to feature for his club and force himself.
That's why he should have pressed for that as soon as Ramsdale seemed to be a thing, because it definitely hurt his chances for his future of his career. He's just basically been idle, right? He's played like less than 10 games or something like that for the season for it, So I mean, that's the what?
So I didn't think he played that.
You don't think he even played 10? Let's see what it says here. Leno played, I guess, 4 Premier League games. He started 4.
Yeah, the first 3 for us, and then he came
1 for the remaining 34.
Yeah.
So he played 8 games, started in all of them. So when he played, he started. Gave up didn't score any goals, didn't have any assists. But no, I like I said, I think that hurt. That's Arsenal hurting somebody's career. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like there was there anybody thought there was a reason to bring in a goalkeeper? No, it was the last thing on our list of things to do at that time. So,
Stephen said we wouldn't have gotten Ramsdale if Leno never said he wanted to go. That's why we signed Ramsdale.
Or maybe Ramsdale said he wanted to go because they were looking at goalkeepers. Because if I recall, early in the window there was Ramsdale talk, right?
Guys are real early into it.
All right, so let's round off. Brady's saying we get Forest or Fulham away. Gary, who do you think we get the first game of the fixtures?
I think Forest would make the one that would make the most sense in this football god. The way the football gods work. Can they do it again? Right. Luckily, it's not on a Friday night, right? So it won't happen on a Friday night. Everybody will be.
I think the rotation will mean that we have a game at home because we played our first game away from home. It will just mean our last game of the season next season will be away from home if we start at home. So I think the first game will be at the Emirates, depending on who we get. I'm going to just throw it out there. Just pick a team, Leicester City. I want to get Leicester City at home. Tony, just for shits and giggles, who do you think we get first fixture?
Man United. Because I haven't heard if it went through or not, but the Big Six were trying to get no games before World Cup, no games against each other after World Cup, so they'd have to come in there somewhere. So early or late in the season.
And who's the top 6? Who's this Big Six?
The Big Six, they don't want to have the so-called...
Who are they?
Spurs, us.
Man United.
City.
Chelsea. Yeah. Liverpool. There you go. Two Manchester teams. Liverpool, Chelsea, and the 2 North London teams. How about that?
Which I think is stupid.
So who do you think we get, Gary? Forest?
Well, Forest would make sense, but based on what you just said, probably not. Probably make that the last game then. Or no, make that the last game. I guess it wouldn't be. Somebody's got to start out with a bang, right? And I doubt we'll play them, but it'd be crazy to play that team on the first game of the season.
First game a few years ago was City, wasn't it? Unai Emery against Manchester City many years ago. So it'll be interesting. I don't care who we have. I just want all of our signings made before that game.
I want our signings before before we need to have some. We need
or
to have
go to America
2 or 3 before we take off for the U.S. Right? So,
I think Gary and I are in agreement. We want most of our work done by the time we're going to the U.S.
Are you and Gary having a bet this summer? We'll have
we don't
have our business done by a certain date.
We don't disagree on this. We both want the same things. So
last year you had different opinions.
Well, you see, there's a situation where reality versus there is a wish and then there's a reality. I feel like Gary wished these things would happen last season, right, Gary? Am I misrepresenting you?
Yeah.
You wished those things would happen, whereas I thought reality bites, and with Arsenal, reality does bite a lot of the time. Stephen, I just hope Arsenal prepared for the first game. Tony, I told you we wouldn't hit 2 hours tonight, so we're not going to make it.
You have now voided my contract. I'll be a free agent.
There is a Streamlabs link back there a little bit if anyone wants to join us backstage when the lights go out. Do that. Hit the like button, validate your boarding pass, and we'll see you on the next one. Next one will be Thursday Night Forum. We'll be talking about the fixtures. The season now should start picking pace, right?
Hopefully we'll be talking about some signings.
Yeah, hopefully we're talking about one signing and a possible signing. So
yeah.
Yeah.
The season now should start moving along, right, Gary?
Definitely.
We don't want to be talking about Marquinhos, so we want to be talking about.
I don't even know what we're going to be talking about him anyways, right?
Or even Jesus.
I just saw that he's got like 1 or 2 goals in the last year. He's supposed to be a forward.
I don't know why we're looking at
he's a young forward.
That young of a winger.
Yeah, well, he's a young, but I think Saka was scoring goals when he was 18. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
we're not talking about playing.
We got young wingers. We don't need any more of them, do we?
Yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand that supposedly this is the what do they call it when we go to the well and you put the water in first? Huh? You know how don't you have to put water? You like when you're trying to pull water out of the well, you pour water in it to prime it or whatever. I think that's what it's called. Like they pay this money to Sao Paulo so that the next great thing coming out will get him. But
grease the wheels a little bit.
Something like that. I don't know.
Ray just throws money into a well. Wishes.
Yeah, that's right. He doesn't try to get the water
All
out.
Right. Tony, you went for a shower, but you came back. Thanks for joining tonight, Tony.
Yep.
And Gary, you left it late, but you came on as a super sub.
Yep. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody in the chats, for joining us.
Kept the energy going.
Ray.
Thanks for watching, everyone. This one flew by, went really quick. Let's hope Arsenal's transfer business flies by. And things
not flies by.
I know. Enjoy the summer, right? But let's get the transfers in.
Business done, right?
Arsenal, go to work, please. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reddy, thanks for being here. Stephen, Gunda, the Assembled, everyone here. Stephen, Misfit, all these people. Mr. Tom, he's already snuck in with the backstage pass. He's waiting right there. So grab it, everyone else, whoever wants to come in. And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. See you, people.
Tom wants to tell us about Rafinha.